In this video you'll learn how you can create infinite models of trees in Blender for free. When I started using Blender I had no idea how to create customizable trees, and recently the problem came back to me when this rendering idea came to my mind. Initially I didn't know how to create it, since in Blender, besides the sampling tree gen add-on, which contains these customizable presets, there is no other way to create trees quickly. And so in order to create these renders I've used a free add-on called the modular tree, and you can find it in the first link in the description. Actually there are two different versions of this add-on. The first one, that works in Blender 4, is overall the best one, but the previous version that I've used in Blender 2.92 has a better roots system. In fact, it has a dedicated node. So if you want to create trees with roots, I suggest you to watch this other video that I've uploaded some weeks ago about the previous version of the add-on. Download the zip from the link in the description, go on Preferences, and press on Install. Select after that the zip, and press on Install add-on. After that, make sure that is enabled, and you can find it here. This add-on works like the shader editor tab, so press on plus and Shift A, add a tree mesh, a trunk node, and also a branch node, and connect them. After that, press Generate Tree. In the trunk node you have the seed, the length of the tree, and you can also control the radius with the start radius, the end radius, and also the shape. The other settings are the apex traction and the resolution that, as you can see from the statistics right here, change the number of the faces of the mesh. Another thing that changes the poly count is the radial resolution. The smoothness doesn't change it, change only the shape, not the poly count. With a branch node you can do pretty much everything. You can change the start of your branches, like I've done for this tree right here, that as you can see has the start of the branches at 0.79 and end at 0.95. If you want shorter branches near the top of the tree, you should use two different branches node. For the first one you set the start to something low and add at the half of the tree, and for the second one you set the start to 0.6 and end to something like 0.85. I have also used another branch node that I've duplicated, and I've used it for the first and for the second part of the tree. So I've added these little branches here just for creating a support for the leaves, and I'll show you later in this video how you can create the leaves in a way that you can obtain this final result. Another example is this case. So if you want to create a bush, just change the trunk length to something low and use 0.10 for the start of the branches. For creating trees like this one, I've used the two different branches node. The first one created the basic shape, and with the second one I have these really low branches, and this effect is given by the apex traction value. So as you can see, if I change this value I would have the opposite effect. With the branches density you can select the amount of branches, and here you can also increase the resolution. Another important value of the branches node is the break chance, so here you can decide how many broken branches you want. Some really important settings are the gravity strength and the split probability, and with the fillet axis you can rotate the branches. Now I'll show you how you can create the leaves. Actually there are two different ways. This is the first one and is the branch that is present by default in the add-on, and after I'll show you how you can create also these other three branches with different textures. For the add-on leaves is really simple, just press on add leaves, and here in the modifiers tab you can change the density of the leaves. You can also change the size. In the case that you want to use different leaves from the one that are used in the add-on, you can do that in this way. So copy this node setup, and after that you've copied it, press on Generate Tree. This little branch is the one that we are going to use. For the branch I've used the bar 003 from AmbientCG. Now switch to weight paint mode and start to draw. The leaves will appear only in the red areas. For creating the leaves, use a simple plane like this one and apply one of these textures from MTREE. Before applying the leaves to the branch, you need to press Shift and right click and press on Object, Set Origin and Origin to 3D Cursor. Now you can manually place the leaves on the branch, or you can create a particle system that uses the weight paint that we've just created. So on particle system, press on plus, switch to air, advanced, go on vertex group and select density. Now select on render object, and in this case the leaf. Okay, now you can increase or decrease the scale and also the number here. And in the rotation tab you can randomize the rotation of the leaves and change the direction. With the seed you can have different variations. You can also go on source and select the vertices. Switch to UV editor tab. Press tab here in order to enter edit mode. Select these vertices and scale it down and select one leaf. Now press something like SY2 on your keyboard. And do the same thing also in this other tab, SY and 2. So now we have one leaf. Now I'll show you how you can create these different materials for the leaves. So let's start with this one. This one is a texture from MTREE that I've used as an input. For the base color, I have to use saturation values node. I've set the saturation to 2 for both and the value to 0.2. After that, I've used the mixed color. The alpha channel is the factor and the A value. The B value is the hue saturation value. And the result is the color of the translucent BSDF that I've used in this add shader. The second value of the add shader is the principal BSDF that has this multiply node with this orange, and the factor is set to 0.5. Remember that I've just changed a little bit the hue from the translucent to the principal BSDF. At the end, I've just used a mixed shader node between the principal and the add shader set to something like 0.6. And I've unplugged the displacement node. For this other texture, I've used the same material of this render. You can find the tutorial on the channel if you want. There is a multiply node between the ambient occlusion and the base color set to 1. After I use saturation value with value to 0.7 and saturation to 1.1. A mixed color node with this exact color. The saturation value is also connected to translucent that, like before, is connected to another shader and a mixed shader. This time the factor is set to 0.8. The roughness is set almost to 0, as you can see, with a mixed color node. And this time I've used both the displacement and the normal map. The last one is the leaf 001, always from MTREE. So this time I've used also here a multiply with 2 different saturation values. So the first one, that is connected to the translucent BSDF, has the hue to 0.48, the value to 0.6 and the saturation to 2. And this other one has the hue to 0.51 and the value to 0.5. I've also used a multiply node with this exact color, set to 0.3 for the base color of the principal BSDF. But like before, I've used another shader with a mixed shader set to 0.6. The roughness is set to 0. As you can see, I've used the black value. I've used the normal map to 0.1 and I've unplugged the displacement. For the bark, you can use whatever texture you like. In order to apply the branch, go to the weight paint mode, and after that create a particle system like the one that I've shown you before for the leaves, and now you are ready to go. On my channel you can find also the tutorials about the renders that you're seeing right now on the screen. If you're interested in the 3D files or in the animated backgrounds that you have seen during the course of this video, you can find them on xrpage.com. I'll give you the link down below in the description.